I want you guys to understand that Joe Biden isn't just one person. Like, he's got an entire team to help him. He's got experts, he's got fact checkers, he's got script writers, and he's got producers in order to try to make this ad resonate with the American people. So it's not just one person that sat in front of the camera like I'm doing and just talked from the heart and that's a wrap. No. Like this had to be greenlit by several people until it actually managed to get on Twitter. So let's listen to it.
If you're anything like me, you like to be surrounded by a snack or two while watching the big game. You know, when buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller. A bag of chips has fewer chips, but they're still charging you just as much. And as an ice cream lover, what makes me the most angry is that ice cream cartons have actually shrunk in size, but not in price. I've had enough of what they call shrinkflation. It's a ripoff. Some companies are trying to pull a fast one by shrinking the products little by little and hoping you won't notice. Give me a break. The American public is tired of being played for suckers. I'm calling on companies to put a stop to this. Let's make sure businesses do the right thing now.
Yes, sir. In a recent interview of U.S. News& World Report, Secretary of the Treasury Blumenthal blamed our current rising inflation in a large part on our foreign trade and unions. He did, however, say that the government was little to blame. Would you like to comment on that?
Yes. Unfortunately, it is one of the defects of our political system that we always put a Secretary of the Treasury and other high government officials into a position in which, when they make public statements, they are almost driven. Well, what's the word I want to use? I want to use a polite word, equivocate. Secretary Blumenthal knows as well as you and I do that inflation does not come from trade unions. That doesn't mean that trade unions aren't grasping. Of course they are. But they don't produce inflation for one simple reason. They do not own a printing press on which you can turn out green pieces of paper. The only such printing press is in Washington. I say printing press, of course, in the modern age we do it in a more sophisticated way. We use bookkeepers and accountants and computers. But it comes down to the same thing. Inflation is made in Washington because only Washington can create money. And any other attribution to other groups of inflation is wrong. Consumers don't produce it. Producers don't produce it. The trade unions don't produce it. Foreign sheiks don't produce it. Oil imports don't produce it. What produces it is too much government spending and too much government creation of money and nothing else.
I think we know since ancient China what causes inflation, because they're the first one that did it. The Spanish Empire also had the same problem when they brought back a lot of gold from the New World, that they had inflation. Like, we are aware of what causes inflation. So the question is, why is Biden so clueless? I mean, I've been saying since he started printing money that it's going to cause inflation. Everyone knows the reason that the prices are going up. But the reality is that he knows as well. Like, it's impossible without a team of experts that he doesn't know. What he also knows is that the American public is stupid, and it is in his interest to maintain them stupid. This is why in American schooling, you learn about the LGBTs, and they're more important than the ABCs. This is why you see in the American education system that kids are failing at math at a spectacular rate, and yet they're not doing anything about it. Instead, they say, no, the standardized tests are the problem. So, like, we should get rid of the tests because the tests are racist. But at the end of the day, the kids still don't learn anything, right? Like, they learn the LGBTs, but they don't learn economics. I remember Joe Biden coming up a couple of years ago, and he was ridiculing and mocking the fact that the American people don't know what logistics are. And that is true, because they don't learn it in school. You know, like, there is no attempt to teach people what logistics are. They don't know. It's like, keep grandma safe, stay home, stay safe. And then they're like, why is the gas prices going up? You know, like environmental policy is really good, net zero. Oh my God, my living standard is going down. Why is that? They don't teach that. You know, like the Democrats, they want to print money to get votes. It's like, oh yeah, you know, vote for us. We're going to abolish student debt. As you know, you can just abolish the debt now. Because, oh, who fucking cares? You know, like no one has to pay. Someone has to pay for it. Oh, free healthcare. Then nothing is free. Like someone has to pay for it at the end of the day, unless you have slaves, right? Unless you have like the empire and you have like slaves. Yeah, slaves are. No, but actually, even slaves aren't free. You still have to clothe them and you still have to feed them. So, but the American public has been dumbed down to the point where they literally believe that government is like Jesus and they can just create money out of thin air, right? Like the government produces wealth. So now you have the situation where the economy is fucked, and they usually tinker with the statistics. I mean, you have David Pacman, you know, coming up and saying, no, actually the economy is amazing. It's fucking awesome. It's just the best economy ever. And you get to see like all these companies just fighting people. And you get to see that when you go to the grocery bill, it goes all the way up, right? Like everything is more expensive than it used to be 2 years ago. But it's like, no, the economy is amazing. And you have like CNN and all these analysts like just lying to your face, you know, gaslighting with the level of gaslighting that should astonish any sensible person. Like, I even had, like, short fat talk about, like, look at the charts. It's like, motherfucker, I don't need charts. I don't need the experts. I go to the grocery bill, I look at the receipt, and I already know that the economy is shit. If your statistics tell me something else, then the statistics are wrong. If I go outside and it's raining, and the meteorologist tell me it's sunny, the meteorologist is wrong, okay? Like, there is no other explanation for this. Yes, like, experts are human beings. They can get it wrong, or they can be malevolent. You can pick which one is it. But I do not buy the fact that the economy is amazing, when every single indicator around me is telling me that it's not. It's like, well, yeah, but it can be like your personal observation. No, my personal observation, when I go to the supermarket, everyone observes the same shit that I do. And it's not just one supermarket, it's all of them. When PayPal fires people, right? If the economy is amazing, why is PayPal firing people? PayPal is like a transaction processor. Like, if everything is good, wouldn't people just trade more? But anyway, right, so now they're saying, no, actually companies are greedy, right? So, like, all of a sudden, you're like, they didn't do this during Trump. They didn't do this before. But now, what companies have done, all of the companies have phoned each other up and they said, hey, let's do shrinkflation. This is for some reason, for no reason whatsoever, just because we're greedy, let's just have less of the product for the same price. And Joe Biden's like, oh, we're going to put a stop to it. Yeah, but like if they would put a stop to it, wouldn't they then just increase the price of the product? Because at the end of the day, you're not fixing the problem. But again, like Biden knows that. I mean, well, I hope he does, or at least the people who wrote the script know this. It's the fact that the people watching this don't know it. It's like, I am surprised how the Democrats managed to put the blame on the private sector. Like, they unironically managed to convince the public that it's the private sector that is causing, like the economy is fine, everyone has money, it's just that all of a sudden the private sector has become greedy. They're incredibly greedy. And racist, because they're shutting down stores in Democrat areas. It's like, okay, so they're greedy, they want money, but they don't want to do business with the Democrats because I guess like they can afford luxury beliefs. Like racism is a luxury belief. Like if you're in a capitalist society, you're like, well, you know, like I just don't want to sell to these people. You're making less money, right? So like they're basically saying that no. All of these private companies are evil. All of a sudden, just all around the world, right? Like it's not like the dollar is the world reserve currency or anything. Yeah, sure. Anyway, right, I just wanted to show it's like how bewildering, out of touch, and disconnected he is. But then you realize, well, actually, he's very connected with his voting base. Because his voting base, despite the fact that they're like, oh, well, we're academics, we're educated. Yeah, sure, you know, like, I'm pretty sure that it's like Germany, right? Like, what was it? 5 seats for nuclear fusion and over 130 seats for gender studies. Like, if you get a gender study education, do you really understand the economy? Do you really know how logistics works? Like Biden asked. Do you understand the geopolitics of the world? Like, then you're educated. Yeah, you have gender studies. You went to university. You have student debt. Sure. But, like, can you actually understand supply and demand? Probably not. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.